Yes, indeed. It's Monday. It's 8 p.m. here in Ireland on the button. It is time for Live Irish Myths. Good evening. Welcome to the Mythical Ireland Library. I'm your host. My name is Anthony Murphy. For the next hour to an hour and a half, please join us as we delve deep into Ireland's past to bring you some lore, wisdom, maybe some myth and legend, maybe some historical facts. This is episode number 315. Fáilte na tua go léir ar fud na cruinne. You're very welcome. The Mythflix tribe around the world, no matter where you are. If you're joining us, whether you're on YouTube or watching on the Mythical Ireland Facebook page, please do join in the chat and do that by commenting, and we'll endeavour to show your comments on the screen. If you're shy and you don't want to join in the conversation, then by all means watch and don't comment. But it's nice if you do, and you'll get a very, very warm welcome. First in the house tonight, unusually, Lily Shamble saying, "Evening all." A very good evening to you, Lily. Hope you're in good form. Ali is watching from sunny Tucson in Arizona. Hello, Ali. I wonder, is Tucson close? I'm not sure where it is in Arizona, but I'm wondering, is it close to the old tribal area associated with the Hopi? Johnny Wilson is saying a big hello from Dallas, Texas. Temperature is 18. Well, that's nice. It was about 12 today. We had a lovely sunny morning. We've had a few very bright and sunny days, which is fabulous, given that we had weeks of grey, overcast weather. And it's been a little bit warmer. It's currently 7 degrees at Dublin Airport, which is just down the road from us here. AW on YouTube is saying, Gia agus Bangia Gwich AW. You're very welcome. And I hope you enjoy this episode. And of course, if you do, there's plenty more to watch back on both the YouTube channel and the Facebook page. Elaine Dent-Lingenfelter, a little bit slow on the uptake this week. Usually the first to comment. But down the list a little bit today, but that's not to worry. Is saying hello, Anthony, and all the two are from a gorgeous day in Central Texas. 22 Celsius. Wow. Starting to get like Irish summer temperatures there already, and it's only February. Rocio Mariana Lopez is saying hi, everyone. I'm here early. Yay. A big warm hug from the Valley of Puebla, Mexico, sending a little bit of sun to all of those who are slightly freezing. We're at 25 Celsius, not boasting or anything. Wow, fantastic stuff. Yeah, send a few degrees around the place. Brendan Byrne says, good evening, Anthony, and the worldwide to our family. So nice to be part of the fellowship on Monday nights. Not quite to be confused with the Fellowship of the Ring. There's no Gandalf here. Alexi Erickson is saying hello from sunny Denver. It's 17 Celsius, and we had a foot of snow last Thursday night. That is wild. Yeah, what a swing in temperatures. I presume all the snow has melted. Lexi, a very good evening to you. Very good afternoon, should I say. Joe Butler, Auntie Joe, says hello from Colorado. Sunny and unseasonably warm. This is our first false spring. Yeah, I think we might be getting that too. Caitlin Moon is saying hello from Ballia Clea, the ford of the hurdles, otherwise known as on Dovlin, the Black Pool. Rex Fortenberry says, Banachty mighty tua. Great weather we're having here in the swamp. Got my feet propped up and a wee dram on hand, ready for the mythin. Sounds fantastic. I mean, just picture this. The image of relaxation. Richard Burgess is in, I believe, New York State. Richard, a very good afternoon to you. Hope all is well with you. And hello to you, and thanks for dropping in. Michael P. Trott is saying a very good morning. Kia ora on Tuesday for 115 from New Zealand. 26 Celsius. In late summer, the sense of autumn nearby. Yeah, as we boast about heading into spring with summer on the way and lengthening days. Of course, it's the opposite for our friends down under. And Michael is, of course, watching from New Zealand. What is that on Tuesday for 115? What's 115? Not sure. Is it 315, as in the episode number? Michael, a very good morning to you. Happy Tuesday from all of us still in Monday. Lily Shambles. How the heck have you had a sunny day? Weather showed you were getting drowned. Well, we did have heavy showers in the afternoon, but this morning was quite beautiful. AW, absolutely. I just subscribed to your channel a few days ago. What a jewel. Brilliant stuff, AW. And tons and tons and tons to watch back. Enough, I would say, for you to binge watch and keep you occupied for 8 or 10 hours a day for several weeks. But hope you enjoy it, and you're very welcome. Tom King on Gowa, the smith of the smooth road, the forge of the smooth road. Shli Ashel, and not far from the Hill of Tara and Talcha and Vaughan Hill. Hello there, Anthony and the Mighty Tua. Oh, a bitterly cold, wet night here at the forge. Time for a cuppa. Enjoy the story. A cuppa. That's unusual. Not a dram tonight, Tom. Yeah, stay warm, stay dry. Stay lit up nicely with that sort of glow on your face as you forge the latest masterpiece, such as the one that's dangling from my neck, which I proudly wear. A one-off item, ladies and gentlemen, made by Tom, especially for the launch of my Fornox book, which is actually 6 months ago. Can you believe that? Adina Sparks is saying, afternoon, Anthony and the Tua. A warm 70 here in New Mexico. I'll be listening while walking the dogs. Brilliant stuff. Hope they'll be listening too and paying attention. That's 21 degrees Celsius, by the way. That's warm. And Scott Doherty is saying, hello, everyone. A special welcome to any newcomers. Yes, indeed. And welcome back. And say hello to Bill. Barbara Murphy is saying, hello, everyone, from a wonderful, warm Tucson, Arizona. Currently 76, heading up to 80. Glad to be here with the Gem Show. Finally over for another year. It was my 41st year of going and 40th working. Wow, what a record. And of course, it's always a great pleasure for me to welcome another Murphy into the Mythical Ireland Library. And I see that 80 would be pushing up towards 27 Celsius. Nice. Gem Show. Wow. Were you the brightest sparkling gem at the Gem Show, Barbara? Helen Hurst Chader has joined us. Greetings to Anthony and the Tua. Helen is watching this evening on YouTube. Hello to you. AW says, same in Leitrim here. Sunny, then a complete lash of rain, then sunny. Very Irish weather like. Yeah. Changeable. Capricious is the word I like to use, you know. Catherine Cleary is joining us from sunny San Diego. Wonderful connecting with you all. Great pleasure to welcome you, Catherine. A very good afternoon to you. Just about, it's only, 7 minutes past midday there. I don't know, Anthony. I think you could wear that pointy hat rather well. A wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. Desiree Riley is in the house. Hello to all the Tua. Me and Amadeus are happy to be tuning in this beautiful day in Grand Junction, Colorado. Well, brilliant. And of course, it's always a great day when Desiree joins us on the stream. I need to know what do you drink to warm up the body on a cold day? Whiskey and tea. In that order, maybe not. Together, not so sure. Irish coffee with whiskey in it. Mariana Dunn says, Banachty, dear Tua and Anthony from sunny even, Alexandria, Virginia. Good afternoon to you, Mariana. What a pleasure to see you again. Welcome to the live stream. Teresa Collins is saying hi to all the lovely Tua. Greetings from a chilly Killarney. 6 degrees this evening. 'Tis a bit chilly. I'm glad to be indoors on another Mythical Monday. We're glad to have your company, Teresa. Hope you're in good form. Watching from the Kingdom this evening. The Hopi Reservation is several hours north, closer to the northeast corner of the state. Tucson is the Tohono O'odham. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. Forgive me. My pronunciations are not always the best. He does say a magician is never late. Lexi has to leave in about 20 minutes, but we'll catch up tonight. Hugs to you all. Well, that's okay, Lexi. Thank you for letting us know. And yes, a very good afternoon to you. And we'll see you on the replay, as they say. I'll send some of our sunshine your way. Yeah. We've been getting drowned in Dublin. First afternoon with a break in maybe a week. Yeah, I mean, it started lovely. And yeah, a few heavy showers around the place. But look, what can you do? It's Ireland, you know. Anne McCallum is in the house. Hello, Anton and all the mighty Tua. I hope everyone's in good form, staying warm and dry. Talk about as changeable as the weather. A week ago, we were minus 18 Celsius with horrific wind chill. Today, it's incredibly windy, but the sun is shining. Snow is melting, as is the ice, even underneath the snow, and it's actually 10 Celsius. We have to enjoy it while we can because it's going back into the negative in a few days. As always, looking forward to the live stream. And said twice just for emphasis. And hello to Anne McCallum. I'll welcome her twice. Thank you, Anne. And it's lovely to see you, of course. Who else? Orla Brennan is on Facebook saying, evening all. Hello, Orla. Welcome to Live Irish Myths. You're very welcome to the Mythical Ireland Library. Judy McQueen is saying it's rainy and windy on the Oregon coast. That sounds very Irish. But of course, Pacific Northwest, well, they share a very similar climate with Ireland. It's an oceanic climate. John Inman is saying, hello from a soft day in Eureka, California. So I take it by soft day, you mean it's raining. A very good afternoon to you, John, and stay dry. And welcome to the stream. Valentina Bernardi is saying, good evening from Glastonbury, where they also had sun today. Brilliant stuff. Spread it round, you know. There is a real feeling that sun is in the air. Ooh, I'm always going to be based in Dublin, says Caitlin, but I'm all over the place with research, etc. at the moment. Giving a paper in Iceland and then Michigan in the coming months. Wow, brilliant. Sorry about that. Don't know what happened. Hey, that's okay, Anne. Computers, you know. Oh. Okay, so we have a spammer on Facebook offering zodiac readings. So you know what to do, folks. I'll do it myself, report them, and let's not make this a spammer's paradise. Yeah, hopefully that'll get rid of them. Barbara is saying to Caitlin, if ever you need someone to carry your bags, ... ellipsis, fill in the blanks. I'll be your volunteer. Did you get a mega downpour this morning and then sun with plenty of wind the rest of the day? Yeah, we had a few showers today. You know, more than one. Definitely. Anyway, you're all very welcome to, as I say, to this episode. We're going to be beginning the very last chapter in P.W. Joyce's A Social History of Ancient Ireland. Just to show you where we are now. That's all that we have read to date. And that is all that we have left to go. So we're down to the last 3-4 episodes, I'd say. And this entire chapter, which is XVIII, which I believe is 18, is dedicated to medicine and medical doctors. So this should be interesting. Medicine and medical doctors in early Ireland. Yeah. But what if I want my zodiac sign to be read? Yeah. It's like, yeah, I suppose it's like, yeah, but what if I want to, get a doctor's opinion about something? It's like, yeah, would you phone your own doctor or would you accept advice from a randomer commenting on Facebook? I suspect the former. But anyway, yes, I think we may have got rid of the spammer in question. But as always with these things, if you see that sort of thing, just report them. That usually gets rid of them fairly quickly. Richard says, yes, I'm in New York, Northern Catskill Mountains, an area once known as the Irish Alps because of the large number of Irish folks. I call it the Shire. I like that. Sounds lovely, by the way. Good news on the book front. I got word today that the reprint of Mythical Ireland, New Light on the Ancient Past will be delivered on Wednesday. So if you have pre-ordered a copy, and I'll share the link where you can buy a signed copy, we'll be sending those out probably on Thursday. So thank you for your patience. Delighted to have it back in print and delighted in particular to give a special mention to Maguire's of The Hill of Tara for their support of this reprint. So looking forward to seeing that. And you may have seen, I shared some photographs recently on Facebook and Instagram where I visited the printers, Anglo printers here in Drogheda, who are printing the book, the reprint. And if you're a patron, you would have seen a video. And I, should I say, was delighted to get an up-close and personal tour and watched as the book was being printed through what is pretty much a brand new printer at that, excuse me, at that print plant, which is brilliant. I'm a doctor, PhD, says Caitlin. My opinion is don't listen to spammers, especially when mercury is in the microwave. Hi, Lexi. Call me when you're done. I missed our after Monday Mythflix chats. That's Barbara. I want to pre-order one too. Forgive me, says Valentina. I just shared the link. I'm not sure. Did you get the link, Valentina? I'll just share it again. So you should see that coming up as a comment. It's not hard to find. So go to mythicalireland.com and go to shop and books, and you'll see it in there. Thank you indeed. Oh, it's I may end up having to take an antihistamine. Hopefully not. Anyway, we're up to date with the comments. So let's get brilliant stuff, Valentina. Thank you indeed. Let's get reading, shall we? So yeah, as I say, we've been exploring this, and this is volume 1 of a 2-volume work. Now, I told you before, I don't actually have volume 2, but I will endeavour to be getting my hands on it. But what it will mean is that when we come to the end of this volume, I'm going to do something else for a while. We'll pick some other topics and some other books and some other things to read and discuss and explore. No shortage of stuff. Imagine we're 315 episodes on, and sometimes it feels as if we barely scratched the surface. Uh-oh. I don't know whether I got some dust in my nose or what, but anyway. Plenty of time tonight. Not many chapters left. No, indeed. In fact, this is the last chapter, but it's a long one, so it might take a few episodes to get through. So are we ready? Are we all comfortable? Are you sitting resplendent in your most comfortable chair, feet up, suitably attired? If you're cold, I hope the fire is lit and sparkling and crackling. If you're warm, I hope the air conditioning or the fan is on. And regardless of which situation you're in, or maybe you're neither, you're just comfortable and cozy, I hope that you have something by way of a little drinky, whether that's tea or coffee or a glass of milk or some sort of juice or some sort of dram, maybe. But are you due a poll today? Oh yeah, I was to do a poll, wasn't I? But before I get to that, I'll never forget my grandfather's last words before he kicked the bucket. He said to me, "Do you want to see how far I can kick this bucket?" Yes, indeed. What did we say? Okay, so this week's poll is, which of these places? We've more than 5, so we might have to hold one till next week. Right, let me just take a list here. So which of these places, if you had to move to Ireland, or if you're already in Ireland and you had to move somewhere else, which of these places would be top of your list? Okay. Here we go. So I'll actually type them in. So would you move to A, the county, county or city? let's call it the county. County Kilkenny. So A is County Kilkenny. Would you move to B, the county of Offaly? Would you move to C, the town of, the city, should I say, of Drogheda? D, the county Monaghan, or E, the Glens of Antrim. So there you go. It's just sharing that as a comment. If you had to move to Ireland, or if you're already living in Ireland and you had to move somewhere else, which of these would be top of your list? County A, County Kilkenny. B, County Offaly. C, City of Drogheda. D, County Monaghan. Or E, the Glens of Antrim. Catherine Cleary says, that joke pales in comparison to some of your other jokes. Get it? Pale. Book it. Brilliant. Catherine, that is fantastic. You do know you can do actual polls on it. You can do polls on... Yeah, but you can't do them simultaneously on Facebook and YouTube. I don't think so. But anyway, it doesn't matter, because I'll just take down the names here. So, Kilkenny for Brendan. Okay, let me just take a separate list. Brendan says Kilkenny. Adina Sparks says Drogheda. Elaine Denningenfelter says Glens of Antrim. Excuse me. Johnny Wilson says County Kilkenny. Okay. Desiree says Drogheda. I wrote Drogheda instead of Desiree. Tuesday Thompson says Kilkenny. Amanda June Haggerty says, I would have to move to Offaly for all the jokes. Okay. Dawn Hilton is in the house. Good evening, everyone. Yes, indeed. Good evening. Joe Butler says Drogheda. Auntie Joe. Rex Fortenberry says Drogheda because he loves brass bands. Orla Brennan says Kilkenny. It's close between Drogheda and Kilkenny at the moment. Barbara says Kilkenny is the only place I've been to. Okay. Is that your answer, Kilkenny? Or, like, would you like to come to... Barbara, we have to put down for Kilkenny. Caitlin Moon. I spent a week in Kilkenny for a conference. It's a beautiful medieval city, but Drogheda has such good neighbours. I'm definitely putting that down as Drogheda. Mariana says Drogheda. You're not all biased or anything, are you? Anne McCallum says Drogheda. To be with my friends. Good on you. All the Drogheda voters, you're all getting a tenner each after this. That joke was beyond the pale. Anne Scott Doherty says Offaly. This may not be the best of reflections on Monaghan since it doesn't have any dates. Kathy Maydeo is saying, good day, Mr. Anthony and Mighty Tua. Please don't put me in the black naughty late book. Waiting for a windstorm to hit here in Newcastle, Washington State. Hope all are doing well. We certainly will not put you in the naughty book. Don't worry. Valentina says the Glens of Antrim. If I say City of Drogheda, will I receive a free tour of the ancient spots? Yeah, let's say yes. Just to get your vote. No, I'm joking. D, South Monaghan. Oh, brilliant. So Michael Trott is saying where my dad was born. Wow. And near Drogheda, yeah, not that far up the road, really. Brilliant stuff. Monaghan in there with a vote. Lily Shambles is saying, I may have to choose Kilkenny, primarily due to South Park. What's that about? Apologies for not knowing. I'm going to have to close the vote shortly. Richard Burgess is also saying Kilkenny. Okay. Brendan Byrne is sitting on the fence. Dawn would move there tomorrow if I could. Kathy May would live anywhere in Ireland. Brilliant stuff. Desira says, I could become Tom's apprentice. Wow. Tom says the vote is awfully close. Not really. Not for awfully, it isn't. Helen Hirsch Chader says Drogheda. Okay. Karen Smith says Mountains of Mourne, which wasn't actually on the list. Karen, I will have to discount your vote, unfortunately. Rex can supervise. Yes, I presume he's talking about at the Forge. Dawn says C, Sligo. I love the Stones there. But Sligo wasn't on the list. So the list, Dawn, was A, Kilkenny, B, Offaly, C, the city of Drogheda, D, Monaghan, or E, the Glens of Antrim. And I'll give you a moment to vote, and then I'll close the vote. In South Park, they often killed a character named Kenny. Kilkenny. I see. I did see a Kilkenny South Park shirt in a shop in Kilkenny. Regret not getting that, says Caitlin. Kelly Nick Kelly says, Skibbereen. Again, hello, Kelly, and you're very welcome, but Skibbereen was not on the list. A, Kilkenny, the county, B, County Offaly, C, City of Drogheda, D, County of Monaghan, or E, Glens of Antrim. They were the choices. So I'll give you a couple of more seconds to vote properly for something that is actually on the list, and then we'll count up the votes. Brendan Byrne says, only if Tom moved to Kilkenny. Tom, what's the chances of you moving away from the Boyne Valley? Somewhere between 0 and none, I think. Dronf says hi. Good evening, Dronf. Welcome. Dawn Hilton says Kilkenny. Oh, this is... Oh. This is mighty close. Tom wants to know who killed Kenny. It was awfully bad. Whoever did it home. Sorry. Yeah, apologies. Yes, by the way, I know a percussionist who has just opened a bakery. He makes drum rolls. Sounds like Drogheda will double in size overnight. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give it 20 more seconds, and then I'm going to close the vote. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep, Drogheda is a city in all but name, according to our former Taoiseach, what's his name, Simon Harris. It is, we reckon, pretty much at the 50,000 population threshold for a city and growing rapidly. The fastest growing urban centre in the state. That includes, so if you pick any part of Dublin where there's been massive growth in the number of residential units being built, Drogheda surpasses all of them. So yeah, it is. Heather Marie Leaning came in late. Black book for you. I'll move to Drogheda if that's where most of the... Well, there's a lot of them in very close proximity, but you've already voted for Kilkenny. Josie Weatherford says Antrim. Thank you, Josie. Good to see you, by the way. Brilliant. Just making sure. Drum roll. So a drum roll for the votes to see which place in Ireland won. But drum roll also for the percussionist who opened a bakery. And Heather Marie gives the big eyes. I presume that's at the joke. Karen Smith says, haha, okay, Drogheda. Okay. I think I have all the votes. Amanda June wants to know, when I move to Ireland, which black tea should I be having with my breakfast? Well, that's between mainly Lyons and Barry's, but yeah. Anyway, let me tot up the votes. Okay, it is done. In reverse order, in last place, with one vote, is County Monaghan. I don't know what you all have against County Monaghan. It is a beautiful part of Ireland. In fourth place, with 2 votes, it's County Offaly. And yes, of course, with the usual jokes, that's an awfully bad result. In third place, with 3 votes, is the Glens of Antrim, which is, I wasn't really, I was talking about the island of Ireland, but just to be pedantic, Glens of Antrim is in Northern Ireland, where all the other locations are in the Republic of Ireland, but I wasn't making any sort of great differentiation. Ireland is beautiful, the whole island. In second place, with 8 votes, is Kilkenny. And shockingly, wow, I mean, this is a big, huge shocker for me. In first place, with 10 votes, is the city of Drogheda. Yes. So that's €100 that's going to cost me. I mean, sorry, did I say something there? Ignore me. Never mind. Yay. Thank you. By the way, the other day I Googled the phrase missing medieval servant, and I got a result: page not found. Desiree says, Joe Butler, can you imagine the Colorado 6 all in Drogheda together? Yes, it would be wild. Yes, indeed. City, yes. Helen Hirsch sent something which is not coming out here. Some sort of emojis, which I'm going to have to check YouTube to see, because I'm curious. Pardon me, you might hear a second here. Yes, it's a happy sort of smiling party face. And Lily is saying a tad biased on the voting there, methinks. No way. How? What? I reject any such allegations and instigations. The fact that I live in Drogheda and most people want to be here, nothing to do with it at all. Josie Welliford, Drogheda is actually extremely nice. Great murals and proximity to the monuments. And my favourite river, the Boyne. There you go. Now, Kathy May is clapping. Glad I had my glass of wine at the ready, says Anne. Yes, indeed. So it'll be duly noted, those of you who didn't vote for Drogheda. It'll be slightly down my pecking order from now on. Speaking of the absence of all bias, this being a totally independent, unscrupulous, never mind. Apologies for my lateness. Jacqueline Kelly Adams is in the house. Life happens. Hi, Anthony, and all from the rainy PNW. You're very welcome, Jacqueline. And of course, yes, no need to explain or apologise in any way. Ivania Lee is saying, Morena Tina Kautu Katoa. Morning to you all from Kiwiland. Ivania, a very good morning from all of us in the Monday hemisphere. To all of you in the Tuesday hemisphere, a very good morning to you. Well rigged, lol, the two. Possibly don't know Monaghan, the fishing lakes, landscape. Yes, indeed. And it's got, like, the vote couldn't possibly have been swayed by the fact that Drogheda is literally the best city in Ireland. And as Josie said, it's close to all the monuments. Fabulous place to live. A dram for Drogheda, says Desiree. In the house too late, says Ulla. Don't worry, the Black Book's not coming out tonight. Oh, actually, I might have voted County Antrim. Spectacular landscapes of the Giants Causeway. I'd love to visit. Yeah. I would have thought Antrim would have got more votes, actually, you know. Good. All of those that voted for Drogheda won't be put in the Black Naughty Book if we're late. Damn right. Yes, indeed. Anyway, let's get on to the subject of medicine and medical doctors. Section 1 of this chapter is called Medical Doctors. This is, of course, P.W. Joyce's A Social History of Ancient Ireland. Medicine and surgery were carefully studied in Ireland from the very earliest times. There was a distinct professional class of physicians who underwent a regular course of education and practical training, and whose qualifications and privileges were universally recognized. Those intended for the profession were usually educated by being apprenticed to a physician of standing, in whose house they lived during their pupillage, and by whom they were instructed. There you go, and close enough to Dublin and to the Mourne Mountains. Half an hour's drive, really, except for on them at rush hour. Up the Dubs, says Caitlin Moon. This profession, like others in ancient Ireland, became in great measure hereditary in certain families. But it does not seem to have become specialized to any extent, so that the same person commonly practiced both as a physician and a surgeon. The ancient Irish name for a physician is Lia, Liaig. And of course, you're thinking, that's Liaig. But of course, the G would have been lenited with a shevu or later a H, so softened. So Lia, which is radically the same as the Old English word leech. Wow. The Irish, like the Greeks and other ancient nations, had their great mythical physicians, of whom the most distinguished was the Dedanan leech god Dian Cecht. His name signifies vehement power. And marvelous stories are related of his healing skill, similar to those of some old Greek physicians. He is celebrated in many ancient authorities, including Cormac's Glossary, that's 9th century AD, and he is mentioned prominently in some 8th century copies of Irish incantations for health and long life given by Zeus in his Grammatica Celtica. That's not Zeus as in the Greek god, but in fact Zeuss, the linguistic scholar, showing his widespread reputation 1200 years ago. He had a son, Miach, and a daughter, Armige, both of whom, in some respects, excelled himself. And in the story of the Second Battle of Moytura, we are told that he grew at last so jealous of Miach that he killed him. And after a time there grew up from the young physician's grave 365 herbs from the 365 joints and sinews and members of his body, each herb with mighty virtue to cure diseases of the part it grew from. Yes. And all sorts of puerile thoughts enter my head as they talk about herbs growing from his members. Yes, folks, there most likely was a herb that grew from his for the healing of certain ailments to the his sister. It's actually spelled Airmeda here. Aramida plucked up the herbs, or some people like to say herbs. They don't pronounce the H. And carefully, like we're Spanish, Rocio, like we're saying Hidalgo, and not pronouncing the H. Apparently, H is not pronounced in Spanish. His sister Armida plucked up the herbs and, carefully sorting them, wrapped them up in her mantle. But the jealous old Diancecht came and mixed them all up, so that now no leech has complete knowledge of their distinctive qualities, unless, adds the story, the Holy Spirit should teach him. This last remark inserted by some Christian redactor. No, Sherlock, yes, indeed. And that is occasionally what happens, or semi-regularly, as we've discussed on many occasions, where the monks were writing down this very pagan mythology and decided to make it a little bit more Christian, a little bit more acceptable to their religious sensibilities. Now, let me just catch up on the comments. You pronounced Hidalgo correctly, Mr. Anthony. Yes. Gracias. If anyone is in Dublin, says Caitlin, Dublinia has a really engaging part of their exhibition about medical and hygiene stuff. Brilliant stuff. Thank you for that, Caitlin. So yeah, if you're in Dublin, make sure you look that up. I'm looking up Dublinia now. I've never been. Looks great, says Mavanwe. Don't interfere with the herb member. Yeah, definitely not. The notion that there are 365 joints, sinews, and members in the human body is found elsewhere. Does that mean, apologies, but I mean, this is very puerile on my part. But if there are 365 joints, sinews, and members in the human body, does that mean if it was a female that had been buried, there'd only be 364 herbs to take account for the member that they don't? Well, hang on. Never mind. Let's not even go there, right? Let's carry on. It's found elsewhere. The idea that there are 365 joints, sinews, and members in the human body is found elsewhere, as in the Old Irish religious treatise called Na Arada. And for more on that, see Revue Celtique, Volume 15, which, according to the editor, Kuno Meyer, was composed probably not later than the 8th century. As the Dedanans had their Diancecht, so all the other mythical colonies had their physicians, who are named in the legends. And O'Curry's manuscript materials, page 221, addresses that specific point. I don't have O'Curry's manuscript material, so that's another piece of work that I need to get my hands on. Mavanwe wants to know, what about us all going over to Colorado? What about the Colorado 6 hosting a delegation of the Tua? Ulla says, worked in health stores for 6 years. Very interested in herbs. Brilliant stuff, Ulla. Monica Regley is late again. Don't worry, I just made a decision, just because I'm in good form, that the Black Book is not going to be making an appearance this evening. I went down to the reception in the hotel I was staying in last weekend because I'd forgotten what room I was in. I said to the lady behind the desk, I said, I'm very sorry, I've forgotten what room I'm in. And she says, no problem, sir. This is the lobby. Coming to a later period, but still beyond the fringe of authentic history, We find in several authorities a record of the tradition that in the 2nd century before Christ, Josina, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, Josina, Josina, the 9th king of Scotland, was educated in Ireland by the native physicians, and that he wrote a treatise on the virtues and power of herbs. And apparently you can go to Harris's Ware, writers, page 306 for more on that. Whatever credit we may attach to this tradition, it shows that the Irish physicians had a reputation abroad for great skill at a very early period. I'm so scared about your black book, Anthony, says Monica. Yes, and so you should be. It has been also given the name the Obsidian Book. But it's staying in the draw tonight. That's the only time you're going to see it. Amanda June says, I've been interested in herbs. I keep saying that because some people say herbs, but I say herbs. What do you say, herbs or herbs? I had a book out from the library that I wished I could have, so I copied the whole thing by hand. This was long before we had cell phones. Wow, the whole thing by hand. Wow, you must have been really into it. But yeah, fascinating. And you know, there is a lot of, in the folklore collection, the school's collection from the 1930s, so almost a century ago, there is a great deal of material about herbal cures and plant remedies. A huge amount of stuff. It's extraordinary. So that knowledge and lore seems to be passed down from generation to generation for hundreds of years and probably for thousands of years. You are welcome to come to Colorado. That's Auntie Joe. I would love to see you. I would cook some Colorado beef and we can discuss Colorado versus Irish beef. Also, there's a great local beer and whiskey. I'm in. I'm done. That's it. Brilliant. When do I book the ticket? I'm on my way. In fact, I think I'll finish the episode early so I can go and pack. Brilliant stuff. Samantha Healy says, hello to all the Tua, bit late. That's good. Well, look, I always think it's a magnanimous thing to do to put your hand up and say, I'm late, rather than sneaking in and pretending, that nobody saw you, I say herbs, says Amanda June. It's the French Canadian in me. Oh, yeah. Les herbes. I did an online course about herbs for 3 months and filled a whole notebook with manually written notes and drawings. Wow, some of you are very, very dedicated to learning, which is fabulous to see. Medical doctors figure conspicuously in the tales of the Red Branch Knights. A whole medical corps accompanied the Ulster Army during the War of the Tyne. They were under the direction of Fingon Fálaí, Faithliaig. For all about him, see O'Curry's manuscript materials and manners and customs. The prophetic leech. That's what it apparently means. Fálaíoch. Yeah, because Faith can mean sovereignty or prophecy, apparently. King Conchobar's physician, who had his residence at Ferta Fingon on the brow of Slieve Fuath in Armagh. And of course, the Fuse Mountains are in southern County Armagh and are visible from northern County Louth, visible from, for instance, Faughart, the hill of Faughart, where Bridget was said to have been born. Each man of his company carried, slung from his waist, a bag full of medicaments. And at the end of each day's fighting, whether between numbers or individuals, the leeches came forward and applied their salves. That's from Miss Hull, Cullen Saga. At the Battle of Crinne, fought AD 226, a monster chief named Teige, Teige, which I think is the original spelling of the name that we would come to know as Teige. Am I right about that? Caitlin Moon, you might help me with that one, and Josie. I think that's correct. Teige. Teige, we'll call him for the moment, until I'm proven wrong, which I probably will be. Teige was badly wounded, after which he remained at Tara under the care of a skillful physician, also named Fingon Fálaí, who ultimately cured him. And that's from Keating, page 326. That's Keating's history and what's called history and Geoffrey Keating, Forrest Fassa. These legendary records are mentioned to show how well the profession was recognised in Ireland, even from the far distant times of tradition and romance. Yep, you're right, says Caitlin. Yeah, brilliant. That's great. I'm right for once. Yay! Time to do the lottery. The medicine bag carried by a physician was called lace. L-E for the S. Lace. I would have said lace. It says here as the pronunciation L-A-C-E. And how general was the custom is indicated by the expression in the aura that the state of Columba's companions after his death was like that of a physician attempting to cure without his lace, as much as to say that a leech without his medicine bag was quite helpless. Occasionally, the medicine bag was called a ferbulog, a man bag. But this term more commonly means the bag or for keeping a set of chessmen. But it's interesting that it sounds like ferbulog, doesn't it? As in those other mythical beings who were in Ireland before the Tuatha De Danann. The first notice of an individual physician we find in the annals of Christian times occurs under AD 860, where the death is recorded of Milodar O'Tinry, quote, the best physician in Ireland, unquote. But from that period downwards, the annals record a succession of eminent physicians whose reputation, like that of the Irish scholars of other professions, reached the continent. Even so late as the beginning of the 17th century, when medicine had been successfully studied in Ireland for more than 1,000 years, Van Helmont of Brussels, a distinguished physician and writer on medical subjects, gave a brief but very correct account of the Irish physicians of his time, their books and their remedies, and praised them for their skill. He says, quote, the Irish nobility have, well, he's from Brussels, so he doesn't have a British accent. The Irish nobility have in every family a domestic physician who has a tract of land free for his remuneration, and who is appointed not on account of the amount of learning he brings away in his head from colleges, but because he can cure disorders. These doctors obtain their medical knowledge chiefly from books belonging to particular families, left them by their ancestors, in which are laid down the symptoms of the several diseases, with the remedies annexed, which remedies are vernacula, in italics, the productions of their own country. Accordingly, the Irish are better managed in sickness than the Italians, who have a physician in every village, unquote. That is translated from Van Helmont's Confessio Authoris, page 13. Amstelod ed Elzev, 1648. Wow, that's like a year before Cromwell stormed the walls of Drogheda. From the earliest times reached by our records, the kings and great Irish families had physicians attached to their households, whose office was, as in other professions, hereditary. In the 10th century, the physicians, like the rest of the community, took family names. And there are abundant notices in Irish writings of the household hereditary physicians of most of the leading chiefs. The O'Callanans were physicians to the McCarthys of Desmond. The O'Cassidys, of whom individuals of eminence are recorded, as in four masters at AD 1322, 1335, 1450 and 1504, to the Maguires of Fermanagh, the O'Lees and the O'Flahertys of Connacht, and the O'Hickeys to the O'Briens of Thomond, to the O'Kennedys of Ormond, and to the McNamaras of Clare. For more about medical families, see O'Donovan's Four Masters, Volume 1, page 494, Goff's Camden, ed. 1789, Volume 3, 665, or Chapter 3, page 665, an article in Duffy's Magazine 2, 273, unassigned, but written, as I believe, by Dr. William Wilde. And Census of Ireland for 1851 report on tables of deaths. From what a remote time the last two mentioned families, the O'Lees and O'Hickeys, draw their hereditary leechcraft may be inferred from the very names of the two ancestors from whom the family names were derived. At this point, I'm going to take a wee drink. Brad M is in the house watching on YouTube. Hi, how are you? Good. Hope you are good likewise. Greetings in the name of the two of the Dannon. And the same right back at you. Oliver Cromwell. Boo! Almost a universal reaction here in Ireland, yes. Depends which part of Ireland, by the way. Lias, I think. Lias. I would say it's lice, but maybe he uses a different pronunciation. Yeah, I think that would be close. Lias. I think Lias or Lias. Just making sure I'm not missing any. From druids to hereditary physicians, then with great clan herb gardens by the 1600s. That's Michael P. Trott. It's warm here today where I live. And whereabouts is that? Oh, you don't have to tell us, but is it unseasonably warm? Warmer than it has been? And lots of conversation going on, which is brilliant. Just so long as you're all paying attention, that's fine by me. Yes. At whatever time these two men lived, they must have sprung into celebrity on account of their skill in medicine. So much so that their ordinary names were changed to Ike, I-C-I-D-H-E, or I-Fodda-C-I-D-H-E, the healer, and Leah, L-I-A-I-G, the leech. And O'Lee signifies the descendant of the leech, and O'Hickey of the healer. Wow. There's a family in Ireland that run pharmacies, and there was one in Drogheda, or there might still be, Hickey's Pharmacy. Fascinating that they're still dispensing medicines to the sick after hundreds and hundreds of years. Their profession, like that of the other medical families, was transmitted from father to son for hundreds of years, till it finally died out in times comparatively recent. A good example of the extraordinary tenacity with which families clung to hereditary offices in Ireland. The O'Shiels, that's O''S-H-I-E-L-S, were physicians to the MacMahons of Oriel, that's this part of the world, and to the McColgans of Delvin in the present Kings County. Delvin is in County Westmeath, and their hereditary estate here, which is near the village of Furban, is still called Ballyshiel, O'Shiel's town. Furban, I always find that fascinating, means the white man, doesn't it? Furban. And Delvin, I passed through on my way to Ishnock. Monica says the boo reaction to Cromwell is everywhere in Europe. Colgan states that in his time, 17th century, the O'Shiels were widely spread through Ireland and were celebrated for their skill in natural science and medicine. Owen O'Shiel was greatly distinguished as a physician in the same century. He attended the army of Owen Roe O'Neill and fell fighting on the Catholic side in a battle fought near Letterkenny in 1650. The year after Cromwell stormed the walls of Drogheda. Only quite recently, in 1889, remember this book was published in 1903, Dr. Shiel, an eminent physician of Ballyshannon, that's in the county of Donegal, isn't it, left by his will a large fortune to found a hospital for the poor in that town, so that even still the hereditary genius of the family continues to exercise its benign influence. The amount of remuneration of a family leech depended on his own eminence and on the status of the king or chief in whose household he lived. The stipend usually consisted of a tract of land and a residence in the neighbourhood, held free of all rent and tribute, together with certain allowance and perquisites, and the physician might practice for fee outside his patron's household. Wow. Talk about the benefits of the job. Okay, folks, so we got another, what do you call it? Annoying is the word. Somebody offering Movanwe a zodiac reading. That was, yeah. Report. Scam. Spam, should I say. Block. Block. Confirm. Done. Didn't give me that option the last time. So there you go. So hopefully that's the last we'll hear from her. Go sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here. What's that from? What movie is that from? Of course, you all have to know. Come on. Answers in the comments. 500 acres of land was a usual allowance. Wow, nice. And some of these estates, now ordinary townlands, retain the family names to this day. There's no such thing in Ireland as an ordinary townland. They're all amazing. Such as Farran Cassidy in Fermanagh, the Ferran, Ferann, or land of the O'Cassidys, and Ballyshiel, already mentioned. The Shining, no, you've got the right actor, but the wrong movie. The household physician to a king, who should always be an olive leech, that is, one who had attained the highest rank in the profession, held a very dignified position and indeed lived like a prince with a household and dependents of his own. Barbara Murphy says, I reported it too. Brilliant stuff. Talking of herbal medicine and more, did Irish physicians have contact to universities in Toledo or Persia? The Roman Catholic Church did forbid it on the European mainland. I'm not immediately aware of the answer to that, Monica. Somebody else may be able to help you on that. Apple O'Day, yes, indeed, you get the prize. As good as it gets. Yes, Jack Nicholson. So we had the right actor, but Josie had the wrong movie. As good as it gets. Go sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here. Yes, indeed. Rex Fortenberry also guessing the correct answer. As good as it gets. So, yes, this olive leech held a very dignified position and indeed lived like a prince with a household and dependents of his own. He was always among the king's immediate retinue and was entitled to a distinguished place at the table. The practice of keeping physicians as well as other professional men in the households of chiefs continued till the end of the 16th or the beginning of the 17th century, when the old Irish order began to be broken up everywhere. Speaking generally, Apple O'Day is thrilled. So, Jack, yes, indeed. Josie should get a prize for recognizing Anthony's amazing impression, lol. Well, yeah, you had the right actor. I didn't realize my Jack Nicholson impression was actually any good, but there you are. Speaking generally, the best physicians were those attached to noble households. Those unattached lived by their fees, the amounts for the several operations or attendances being defined by the Brehon laws. A qualified physician, as we have said, kept pupils or graduates who lived in his house and accompanied him in his visitations to learn his methods. Wow. A bit like the, what do they call it, the sort of understudy of the professor in, or the consultant, the house something, the something house, the house something, in current Irish, in the medical profession in hospitals in Ireland. Oh, that's just, can't think of it. Somebody else will prompt me shortly. Sneak Sneak, I'm in. Spur wheel. Yeah. Um, Sneaking in and then telling us you're sneaking in kind of undermines the whole idea of sneaking in, Burr, but you're very, very welcome, of course. It was the acting for sure. You seem just like him. Oh dear. I'm not sure that's a good thing. But anyway, Amadeus was not a fan of that impression. I think he thought something was wrong with it. Wait till you see my Oliver Cromwell impression. Kill the bastard. No, never mind. Depends on what time period you're asking about, says Caitlin. Ireland was closely tied to the Vatican, and there was several flights of Irish nobility and their staff to Spain. Valladolid. Valladolid. How do you pronounce that? Don't know how to pronounce that. Rossio, help! And other places. Also, the Irish clergy were celebrated in continental monasteries, which is how a lot of old Irish grammar survives. Understudy. No. Minion, no. The house. That's annoying me now. Oh, it would help if the keyboard is switched on, Anthony. Senior House Officer, SHO. There you go. Yeah. I knew it got something to do with House, but not Dr. House. The famous Hugh Laurie character. The ornery Dr. House. Myself and my wife watched that entire series, or the entire set of seasons, and enjoyed it immensely. Very, very funny. Valladolid. So the last syllable, lead. Valladolid. Is that right? Valladolid. Can we have a t-shirt with show me the footnotes on the back? Yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea, Mavanwe. Yes. Yeah. If he had to remain for any time in the house of the patient, he was entitled to diet for himself and for his pupils, besides his fees. Wow. So, the Olive Leach, the chief doctor, basically, who already owned a nice parcel of land, in some cases up to 500 acres, was entitled to fees and food and drink if he was staying at a sick patient's home for a period of time. Valladolid. Thanks for the help with that, Rossio. I do appreciate it, because even though I'm not a linguist, I do have a fascination with words and pronunciations. I'm waiting to use a Dr. House quote. Dr. House, I've heard your name. Most people have. It's a noun. Yeah, brilliant. Accent on the O. Valladolid. Valladolid. From an entry in the Brehon Law, we infer that in going his rounds, that's what it says, in going his rounds, he himself usually rode on horseback, like the olive poet. For the law states that when a physician was distrained, one of the things that might be taken was his echlashk, or whip. I believe the first syllable of that word is horse, ECH. So it's one word, ECHLAISC. So I presume it's horsewhip or something like that. Rabbit hole. We are going to check the Dictionary of the Irish Language, the online version. Echlaid, it's probably going to come up nothing, so we'll take the H out. Echlage. Fears or is afraid of? I don't know. Whip. Okay, let's go further then. Let us get Deneen. No, McKenna. And we're going to look up the word. This is McKenna. He was a Jesuit. Folklore Berla agus Gaelge. So you look up by the English word rather than Deneen, who is a folklore Gaelge agus Berla, in which you look up the Irish word and find the English translation. Let's have a look here. Whip. Whip, whip, whip. Whip. Yeah. Eachlasc. Slightly different. Ends in a C, but we had put a D at the end of it, which is what was in. Oh, there's a C at the end of it. Yeah, that was my fault. Still not happy. Now I've lost my place. Give me a second. Whip, whip, whip. Apologies about this. I'm down a rabbit hole because I want to know if the ech in Echlashk is relating to a horse. Caitlin will, and maybe Josie might help with this. Horse guide tool, says Caitlin. Where are you looking that up, or is that just straight out of your own knowledge? Probably. Mavanu says, and the spade is out. Yes, we're digging rabbit holes. Wow, lots of comments. Sorry. So I lost it. To which the correct reply is, you lost it a long time ago, Murphy. Yeah. EAC, and I'm just going to write this down somewhere on a scrap of paper. EAC, Shavu, LASC. EACLASC. It's not giving me an answer here, so let's see if I can look up by other than. So ech, according to the Dictionary of the Irish Language, ECH is a horse. Echlash is a horse cloth, ? Or also a shelter for horses or a stall. Echlashk, a horse switch. Some of the examples suggest that being thrust into the ground, it was also utilized as a tethering post. So echlashk can mean a shelter for horses, and echlaska means plying a horsewhip or lashing his horse. So flesk, FLESC, is a rod, a wand, or a stick. So is it ech flesk, but with the lenition echleshk? It looks like that's what it is. So back to what Caitlin says. What page is it on? You mean in Deneen or in McKenna? You lost it again. I didn't take the page number down. And it's huge, as you know. It's on the bottom of page 1509. But if you're looking for the DIL entries, I can give you those individually. Let me just paste them in as comments. For all of you who want to see the source that I'm looking up, it's online. It's a brilliant resource for all the mentions of various words and proper nouns in Irish manuscripts. It is just a brilliantly collated and curated resource, better than probably the best of dictionaries, really. Anyway, there are the links to what I'm talking about. What day is it also? It's Monday. I know that was an ironic question. That sounds etymologically possible for the whip because of the H mutation. Yeah. Is that what we call eclipses, is it? It's mutation, or is it eclipses, where it eclipses the F because the F is lenited. FLESC becoming FHLESC. Lesk. So you don't pronounce the F. Echlisk. Wow, I've just copied a rune circle a Dane made, and he calls the name of the rune E is Ehwas, meaning horse. Wow, is that a coincidence? Nuevo Laredo, I'm only guessing. Okay, we missed your previous comment. Equestrian, yeah, I think that is actually the case. I think that there's an etymological link there. Brad tells us there's a rock band in Tennessee named Two a Day. I saw them perform 2 years ago. Brilliant stuff. Were they legendary? Their performance was mythical. Could you put how to get where you are digging? Large shovel, plenty of spade work. Barbara is the answer. I've shared the links to the Dictionary of the Irish Language. You can search that online. It's an online resource. And the folklore is McCumma, L. McCumma S.J., published in 1935. Yeah, that's not quite sure if there's a version of that somewhere online, and I don't think there is. Not the rarest book in the world, but you'll pay at least 50 quid for a copy. This one, I thought, let me see if I dated it. I usually, with a pencil, put my name and date when I obtained it somewhere in it. Yeah, I paid 45 euros for this several years ago now. And actually, I didn't put my name and date on it, which is unusual for me, but it's a good while ago now since I got my hands on it. My beautiful horse, says Bear Whelan. Yeah, my lovely horse. I would go for whip, not shelter, says Caitlin. We call it H mutation when there is a H involved at the beginning of a word. Lenition is considered something separate. Okay. Mutation, right. And it literally mutates the sound of the word, right? Okay, great. Entomology, equus, yeah. Why are we talking about horses again? Well, because of the horsewhip. So the last thing that we said was, from an entry in the Brehon Law, we infer that in going his rounds, he himself usually rode on horseback. This is the physician to the nobles, the olive leech, like the olive poet. For the law states that when a physician was distrained, one of the things that might be taken was his echlishk, or whip. So I think we've gotten to the bottom of it. Literally, his horse rod, I think, would be the very literal translation of it. Ech is very important in Finnegan's Wake by James Joyce. Lucas, I have a confession to make. I haven't yet read Finnegan's Wake. I have to get round to it. And they all have lovely bottoms. Not sure what that's. You've lost me there, Caitlin, but I get easily lost, let's be honest. I go down rabbit holes and I don't come back up for half an hour, so there you are. So whip, says Mavanwi. Yes. Whips was a quip, says Nagathi R.E. Yes. Yes, they're a pagan folk band. They're very good. I'd imagine they are. Must look them up. I've probably seen them, actually. That sounds familiar. Were they rock and roll? They were megalithic. Ah, yes. Like Aaron versus Heron. Yeah. You see, every day is a learning day. I am amongst scholars, and I feel that the back and forth always helps me. Father Ted reference. Okay, yeah. Was that the Lovely Girls competition or something? Yeah. We have already seen that a man who inflicted a wound had, on conviction, to pay a certain Eric fine to the wounded person. A leech who, through carelessness or neglect or gross want of skill, failed to cure a wound, had to pay the same fine to the patient as if he had inflicted the wound with his own hand. Wow, talk about an onerous duty. Talk about having to get it right. When a physician treated a wound, a certain time was allowed to test whether he had made a good cure. If it broke out afresh before the end of the testing time, the cure was regarded as unsuccessful, and the leech had to return the fee and pay the usual Eric fine. Moreover, if during treatment he and his pupils had lived in the patient's house, he had to refund the cost of maintenance. Sorry, I meant etymology, not insect studies. Yeah, when I read entomology, what's the difference between entomology and etymology? There's a joke there, isn't it? Isn't there? Um, I can't remember it. Hang on a second. A quick Google. People who can't. Yeah, this is it. Hang on a second. I have to find it. People who can't distinguish between etymology and entomology bug me in ways I cannot put into words. Bug, study of insects. Barbara Murphy just beat me to it by saying it's bugging me. Yeah, there we go. No, that's my own comment. Never mind. Yes, yeah. Entomology and etymology, two different things, as we've just ascertained. But he might provide against these penalties, as is stated below, by first obtaining a guarantee of immunity. These days, doctors have insurance. The testing time for a wound on the hand or arm was a year. Wow, a year! It's a long time. For a wound of the leg, a little more. For a wound of the head, i.e., probably a fracture of the skull, 3 years. After the testing time, the physician and the wounded were both exempt no matter what happened. And there is quoted below lots of references in the Brehon laws. Those who had gone through the prescribed course of study and training were technically and legally qualified physicians and were probably able to produce a certificate or diploma of qualification. A person might also set up as a leech and practice without any regular qualification. An, quote, unlawful physician, unquote, as he was called, meaning not legally recognized. Yeah, we won't get to the medical manuscripts chapter today, or section today, Mavanwi. Why do anteaters never get colds? Asks John Inman. Because they're full of antibodies. Yes. How do you determine the gender of an ant? You place it in water. If it sinks, girl ant. If it floats, boy ant. Sorry. Oh, God. I can't believe you just dropped that one on them. Yes, indeed. There was no law to prevent this, but such persons were subject to certain disabilities and dangers not incurred by the regular practitioner. Something like quack doctors of the present time. I am getting people laughing at that. Is that no? I presume that's the anteaters. That's John's joke that people are laughing at. Definitely not the Girlant, buoyant. Yes. A qualified physician performing a serious surgical operation, such as removing a bone, a joint, or a limb, had previously to get a guarantee of immunity. If he neglected this, he was liable to the usual damages in case of failure, taking the element of time into consideration. The unqualified practitioner had, of course, to take the same precautions or abide the consequences. And he should also give notice that he was not a regular physician. In lighter operations, such as bloodletting, extracting a small splinter, etc., the regular physician was free from liability without any guarantee, while if there was no guarantee, the other was liable if unsuccessful. And again, references to the Brehon laws. Rex is writing that one down. There must be something in the water. Silence is golden. And there's the rabbit. Follow the rabbit down the rabbit hole. Veronica Smith says, hello, everyone. And apparently the emoji is supposed to be a pink hand waving. Hello, Veronica. You're very welcome. We are almost finished. Michael Pike, I didn't know if we had said hello to you earlier, Michael. Did you vote? Can't remember. Apologies. But ouch, I presume, is for the girl ant, boy ant joke. Yes. It is worthy of remark that in our legendary history, female physicians are often mentioned. Though the several accounts of these are shadowy enough, the legends must have had some foundation. And at any rate, we see that in ancient Ireland, the idea was abroad, which is so extensively coming into practice in our own day. And again, he references O'Curry's manuscript material. So that's a work I've got to get my hands on. Just counting pages here. Oh, right. I need to do it with two hands. Give me one moment, please. Nuevo Laredo says, good morning from Brisbane, Australia. Happy Tuesday to you. Thanks for joining us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 7. It's nearly too little for 4, maybe too much for 3. Yeah, so we've 3 or 4 more episodes to go on this subject. Let's read a couple of paragraphs of the next section, which is medical manuscripts, because Mavandre seems particularly interested in this section. Veronica, yes, that's what I was looking for. And now it says trophy yellow smiling. Yeah, your emojis are not translating. Well, they are translating, but they're not showing as emojis. The physicians of ancient Ireland, like those of other countries, derived a large part of their special learning from books, which in those times were all manuscripts. The Irish medical manuscripts were written on vellum in a particular hand, generally easy to recognize, small, neat, and regular, unlike the scripts of doctors today. And that's a running joke. You know that there's some doctors who are stranded on a desert island, and they're supposed to be writing help in the sand in giant letters, and a plane passes by, but all they see is a squiggle, so they don't know what it is, and they just fly past. The members of each medical family had generally their own special book, which was handed down reverently from father to son. And there's a phone ringing here in the background. Live TV, folks. Don't you just love it? And which, at long intervals, when it had become damaged and partly illegible through age, was carefully transcribed into a new volume. Several of these venerable leech books are still preserved, as mentioned further on. Anything can happen on live TV, and it usually does. I love a manuscript. If only the rabbit brought a mechanical digger, says Brendan. Yes, it's one of the Star Wars theme tunes. Is that yes, it's from Star Wars. I can't remember exactly what that. It's not the that's the theme, but it is one of those. Episode 315, Reading with Lesser Rabbits. Doc. Doc, what's up, Doc? Did you get it? Never mind. A-Team in the background. No, but it is it's definitely from Star Wars. Is that Leia's theme? Is it? No, it's not the Emperor's March. Clay Webster, you've been sneakily watching in the background. You didn't even announce you were here. Yeah, no, the Emperor's March, the Imperial March. So it's not that. I think that's Leia's theme, is it? There's a slow version of it. There's a really beautiful slow version of it. Yes. Anyway, I'm singing now, and I'm embarrassing myself. So let's get on. As if I didn't embarrass myself enough with the jokes earlier on. So what was I going to say? Yes, handed down reverently from father to son, and which at long intervals, when it had become damaged and partly illegible through age, was carefully transcribed into a new volume. Several of these venerable leech books are still preserved, as mentioned further on. But besides these special books belonging to particular families, there were many others, which were copied and multiplied from time to time, so that the chief medical families had libraries containing such medical knowledge as was then available. Many medical tracts, too, are found scattered through the large miscellaneous manuscripts. For instance, the Yellow Book of Leckham contains 4 such tracts. The very early medical works in Ireland shared in the general destruction of books spoken of at page 489, that was a while back, and those that remain are of comparatively late date. In the Royal Irish Academy Dublin, this is a footnote, there is a catalogue of the Academy's medical manuscripts drawn up by O'Curry. Can someone ring Anthony so we can hear it again? It wasn't my phone, actually. It's Luke's theme, says Rex. Okay. Rabbit hole phone. The oldest medical manuscript in Ireland appears to be one copied in 1352, mentioned below, but there are others older in the British Museum. Of those remaining, a vast number, written from the 13th to the beginning of the 18th century, are preserved in the libraries of Dublin, London, and Oxford, forming a collection of medical literature in Irish, probably the largest in existence in any one tongue. Wow, fascinating. Many of the manuscripts consist of the works of classical medical authors, to which the Irish physicians obviously had full access, such as the aphorisms of Hippocrates, the works of Galen, Raz, or Hazes. I haven't seen that name before, so I don't know how it's pronounced. Avicenna, Serapion, Dioscorides. I have no idea whether I'm getting those right or not, etc. Somewhere, let's just gloss over those for a moment. See what I did there? Manuscripts, gloss. Never mind. Some are copies of one or more of those in Latin, but many were translations into Irish, and all, whether Latin or Irish, were accompanied with native commentaries. The great bulk of the Irish medical literature is made up of these texts and commentaries, and the Irish physicians of each generation added the knowledge derived from other books or from their own experience. It may be interesting to give a brief description of the few of the existing manuscripts, which will serve as examples of all. And that's where I'm going to stop reading for this evening. Conscious of the fact that we have now been going for an hour and a half, but I will leave time, of course, for comments and questions. 66 viewers right now. 66, yes, indeed. So thank you all for participating. Caitlin Moon says, one thing we don't talk about with these manuscripts is how they often use what we would call text speak. The abbreviations assume you know the grammar and the context, so this causes a lot of conflict and confusion. Yeah, and so, for instance, something that we see quite regularly in relation to the mythological cycle is Tua de Danann rendered TDD, T dot D dot D dot. And you're supposed to know what that is. But I presume you're talking about, in this case, medical examples. Thanks for the comment, Caitlin. Mavanwe, I'm playing the Star Wars soundtrack as a background now to Anthony's reading. See if I can spot the tune. Well, apparently it's called Luke's theme. This is breathtaking. All when we here in Middle Europe are deeply drowned in the Dark Ages. Yeah, so this sort of plays into the whole theme of Thomas Cahill's How the Irish Saved Civilization, that the lore and the knowledge and the science and the myths and the holy writings were preserved here, and then the Irish monks went back out into the continent and brought it all back out with them, you know. I just love how every member of the Tua seems to also suffer from attention deficit disorder, bound by love of Irish mythology and short attention spans. Yeah, that's me down to a T. Definitely got attention deficit. Definitely played when they march into the ceremony at the end. That is something and finale, isn't it? Throne room finale or something like that. I still don't think that's it. I think it's a slightly different tune. Queen Elizabeth, unless I'm completely wrong. Am I not remembering even the right tune? I could be wrong. Just ignore me. I'm a bumbling idiot. Nuevo Laredo says Queen Elizabeth enacted some druid ritual back in the 80s or 90s. I'll have to look it up. It must be important to the powers that be. Wow. Don't know about that, but yeah, tell us more. I hope he does not broadcast from the Death Star. It's time to demonstrate the power of this weapon. Thanks, TDD. The slow version of Luke's theme was in A New Hope when Luke stares at the double sunset. Yeah, is it definitely called Luke's theme, or is that not Leia? Oh, of course, Leia wasn't in that scene. So yeah, it must be Luke's. Sorry, Rex. I'm not even arguing. I'm just wondering. I read Cahill's book as a teenager. Explains a lot of things. Yeah, I think he's been criticized. I mean, it's not a comprehensively convincing thesis. It's a fascinating thesis, is what it is. Now I keep picturing a bunny going down a rabbit hole to Star Wars theme songs. Have a shovel, will travel, need music. Who needs drugs when you've got Netflix? It's not that bad, is it? Thank you for a great evening, especially from Anthony. Don't forget the bins. Yeah, it's the refuse bins this evening. It's the black bins. What is your dram? Actually, mine is a Diet 7-Up. Have a safe and great week, Mr. Anthony and Tua. Yes, indeed. Where can I get Cahill's book, says Monica? You should be able to get a second-hand copy fairly handily. It just depends. Do you want to use Amazon or do you want to use ABE Books? Let me just quickly look on ABE Books. How the Irish Saved Civilization. £3.58. Free shipping within the United Kingdom. £3.44 free shipping within the United Kingdom. £5.57. Yeah, there's one in the USA there. Oh, hang on, where it's Monica? Okay, yeah, so you might have to from Ireland. Weathered Stone Books in Screen in Sligo. £4.26 in sterling, so 5 something probably in euros. There's one in Australia. You should be able to get a second-hand copy if you so want one. Not sure actually about whether it's still in print. How the Irish, where am I getting that from? The Irish people. That's Alan Rickman's impersonation. That's his characterization. That's his playing the part of Eamon de Valera in the film, in the movie Michael Collins. Eason's. Oh, it's available. Oh, hang on. Is it in stock? Yeah, it's available. Excuse me, on Easons.com, EASONS.com. That's an Irish bookseller. Yeah, you should be able to get a copy. Apparently, it's still available new. The Irish people, as a protest against the ratification of this treaty, me and my deputies are going to leave this house. Okay, I'm in Ireland in April. Brilliant stuff. You'll be able to get a copy then. A couple of months away. Now, I have to scroll back because there's loads of comments. Thanks for the laughs too, says Elaine. You're very welcome. And at no extra cost, you know. Thank you, Anne McCallum. Interesting and enjoyable. Bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day, or in my case, the rest of the night. It's not too far from the old bedtime at this point. I saw a photo of QE2 supposedly doing a ritual with druids, but I would want to know more of that context. Yeah, so would I. I know that your man I've mentioned on occasion, the author Lawrence van der Post, who was a friend of C.G. Jung, was a friend and apparently advisor to Prince Charles, and he was a bit of a mystic. Glad I came in late. I'm high as a kite now, says Burr. TDD rather than ADD, huh? Herbal tea for me, says Mavanway, as in, what is your dram? Yes. Played on an Irish penny whistle. Yeah, that'd be some. Can you imagine the entire program of Star Wars music played on an Irish tin whistle? I think I'm having a hot toddy, technically, says Desiree. Everyone's getting sick around me, so I'm having some warm whiskey with honey. Oh, very good idea. Yeah. Thank you all. Good night, people. X, says Dawn Hilton. Thanks, Dawn. ABE books is preferable, says Michael Pike. How do you call a person with deficit disorder? Wait, was that Luke's theme? What were we talking about again? Yeah. Apple O'Day says, if you're in Ireland, you could find Cahill's book at the library or on my bookshelf. Yeah. If you didn't want to buy it, get it in the library. Rex shared a YouTube link. Should I even click on it? Binary Sunset. Oh, yeah. There. Oh, I have to be careful not to play that music in case I get a copyright strike from YouTube. She was made an honorary member of the Welsh National Gorsedd. I believe I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. What is Gorsedd? What does that mean, Valentina? Whoops, I meant to type if you're in Vancouver. Sheesh. I wish I were in Ireland. Thanks for the live stream. Okay. Apple O'Day is in Vancouver, but suddenly thought they were in Ireland. Well, I mean, you know, everybody wishes they were in Ireland, don't they? That accent sounded South African. Yeah, the point is Alan Rickman's Irish accent wasn't exactly brilliant, you know, but then Eamon de Valera had a peculiar accent, you know. I'm in that movie, says Brendan. Spot me if you can. Wow, in Michael Collins, is it, what beach was it? Bunclody Beach, or on one of those beaches, or Cortown, not Cortown. What was the beach that the opening sequences were? No, that's not. That's Saving Private Ryan. Never mind. Talk about attention deficit and getting confused. Thanks, everyone, for a great time as always. Keep safe, happy and healthy. Yes, and the same to you, Barbara. Keep her lit, as they say. I'm loving this topic. Looking forward to next week, says Amanda June. Well, we're looking forward to having you back next week. Looking forward to more medical manuscripts next week, says Mavanway. I will be listening with absolute focus, except for the bits where we're telling jokes. And thank you indeed, Nagati Arihi, and go well yourself also. Snape. Yeah, well, I mean, I think he's probably decent at Snape because nobody knows exactly what Snape's accent was like, whereas we have actually got historical recordings of De Valera to compare. Thanks for the reading and comprehensive lesson. I know very little about Ireland. Most of my great-great-grandparents were all Irish. Wow, brilliant. Well, I'm glad that you've been able to enjoy it and learn something. Another fun time learning and listening. Be safe, everyone, says Adina. Richard Burgess says, another fun reading. That's it. You have to entertain, but you also have to entertain. You have to educate, but also entertain. Lots of fun and some information. Being a physician in ancient times sounds like a responsibility for a time for the health of the patient. Not much like now. Take care to it. Yes, indeed. Tuesday wants to know, was Queen Elizabeth at the, how do you pronounce that, Eisteddfod in Wales with the Druids? Was that the event? Love hot toddies, says Rex. I think we all need help. We have too much crack. But I mean, with the way things are in the world, there has to be somewhere where you can go and have a bit of fun. And we Irish, as I'm always saying, we don't take ourselves too seriously. 80 days until Wheels Up, says Elaine. Who's counting, huh? Nope. Saving Private Ryan. Ah. Yeah. I knew I got it wrong. Apparently, the Iberian Empire, the Moorish Empire, scattered and burned, was the start of the science renaissance, and the Beaker and Pictish culture have ties. They share the same myths and legends of King Arthur. Does the book say something about medical instruments used to perform the procedures, attending different wounds? You will have to tune in next week to find out, Rossio. I thought he meant the Star Wars movie filmed out the West. I don't think Brendan was in that. That's not the one you're talking about, Brendan. I think he's talking about Michael Collins. Rickman, where are my detonators? Yes. Was that Hans Gruber? The Gorset is the Welsh Poets Society. Ah, thank you, Tuesday. Thank you, Helen. We'll see you next week, hopefully. Now, I don't know what to believe, says Mavanwi. Is that in relation to Queen Elizabeth, I hope? It's bin day here today too, says Amanda. My horse is having a grand day with heaps of eggs from the ends. So you're doing the whole herbs thing. Grand time as always. Thanks, Anthony. He's from Yorkshire. Is that how they say it in Yorkshire? Thanks, Anthony, for another fantastic show. More jokes. Take care, Mighty Tua. Thank you, Rex. Be safe. Have a good week. We need clarification. And Brendan says, would I lie? Rabbit holes galore. Am I in a loop now or a rabbit warren? I think I finally come out of the rabbit hole and just rounding up and finishing the episode. A favorite teacher saying, the mind can only absorb what the seat can endure. YouTube makes it easier because I don't have to sit in my seat the whole time. There you go. And I'm not the sort of professor who gives out when somebody wants to stand up. Anthony, would you please ask the person from Tucson on YouTube to find me on Facebook, as she would make 3 here. So the person from Tucson, Arizona, who is commenting on YouTube, look up Barbara Murphy on Facebook. She would like from you. I think if I'm not completely screwing up the message, I think that's what's being said here. Yes, indeed. I've just shared that. I found it very interesting, and I did enjoy this channel. And I enjoy this channel heaps. Well, thank you, Nuevo. Brilliant. Thank you, Ad Astral Music. Okay, I'll wait for the next episode on the Netflix. In relation to Brendan starring in Star Wars, Saving Private Ryan or Michael Collins? Yes, Mavan, we need clarification on that. Thanks, everyone. Anthony Mundy especially says Brendan. Yeah, but he's not answering the question. Okay, so the double D is pronounced like an F, pronounced Gorsef. Is that right? I am confused. I have to do some more learning about the Welsh language and try to get my head around some of the pronunciations. All 3 were shot in Ireland. Well, Michael Collins was shot in Ireland. Oh, you mean the movies were shot in Ireland? Oh, okay. Yes. So which is it? Which movie were you in? Come on, before we finish. I have to put the bins out. Come on. We want to know. We're waiting. We're waiting for the answer. Brendan Byrne, what movie? What? I think it's Michael Collins, because that's the one I was talking about when you said it. And Vania Lee, have a great Tuesday. We'll see you next week. Happy day. Have a fabulous one. Still waiting on Brendan. People are leaving in their droves while we wait for the answer. Brendan won't tell us. No, it's pronounced like TH in the. A Gorseth. the Gorseth. Not the, but the Gorseth. Oh my God, Anthony, the Michael Collins was your worst ever. The Michael Collins what? You mean my impression of Alan Rickman doing an impression of Eamon de Valera? The de Valera chap was more Spanish American with an Irish mother. Yeah, he had a peculiar ancestry, didn't he? I am lost now, says Monica. Yeah, I'm pretty lost now too. We were waiting for. There's so many conversations going on. Brendan's just not. His lips are sealed. I guess we'll find out next week. That gives you all a reason to come back next week. Which movie was Brendan Byrne in, and what was he kind of in the background just as an incidental, or did he have like a brief but famous cameo? Who knows? He won't tell us. Caitlin Moon is laughing also, I think, at the whole notion of shot in Ireland. Michael Collins was shot in Ireland, both the person and the movie. Yeah, Bale na Blah. Brendan is saying wasn't too bad, Anthony, as a protest against the ratification of this treaty. No, he's not telling us. All that remains for me to say at this point is Ichawa, Kolosov, Slongafol, August Toga Bugay. Have a fabulous week, everybody. We'll see you next week for episode 316. And I think, did we say there are 3 episodes left where we're reading A Social History of Ancient Ireland? So please do join us. Take it easy.